LeBron James, and I've said this over and over again, there's no doubt he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. There's no doubt that he is. The problem with him is he has a platform where he can shake and bake or whatever he wants to do, where he can structure what he says to be the answers to whatever his opinion is to the world.
Yeah, and again, it's because there's going to be more social medias, more technology that comes in. It's not going to be something that goes away anytime soon. So we're seeing it now where some people obviously are embracing it and fighting with him and speaking in their mouths all the time. And there's others like you and I that, yeah, we know what he's fighting for. We get what he's fighting for. But again, do you have to say something every day?
Have you? And there's a guy named Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid is very high profile, loves to open his mouth. How many times did we see him on Twitter over the last 2 years attack players? He's attacked Kevin Durant, he's attacked Steph Curry, he's attacked LeBron James, he's attacked practically everybody in the NBA. We haven't heard Joel Embiid say nothing about what's going on in the NBA, what's going outside the NBA, none of this. And the reason why is, and I think Joel Embiid has it right, is he realizes it right now in the world with everything going on, sometimes it's best not to speak.
Right.
Sometimes it's not. And LeBron James, and I understand he uses the platform just like Colin Kaepernick did with kneeling to the national anthem. To me, it sets forth not only that LeBron James is going to be looked at this right now in a high-profile time, COVID-19, this will be remembered. COVID-19 year will be remembered because we have never had a loss of season as long as we have in professional sports since the 1930s and 40s.
Right. World War II was the last time a lot of baseball players, some football players went in there from 1942 after the U.S. got bombed by Pearl Harbor to 45. That was the last time, and there were even some other independent leagues that were playing at that time. It's not like there was nothing like we have now.
And this is not make and take shots at LeBron James week, okay? Because I did say what I felt about LeBron James on Tuesday, and Carl, shout out, one of our fans, reached out to me after the show and pretty much told me, why would you blame LeBron James for the Big Three team thing where all these top superstars are now joining forces to win championships because the Boston Celtics did it with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen.
Yeah, theirs was a trade, though. That wasn't guys forming together all the time. Unless, again, it wasn't noted that those guys were forming, but that was a trade. There's a big difference between that and players essentially tampering with each other to say, all right, we're going to go play here next year when you're in the middle of another season.
Let me ask you guys a question. Michael Jordan was in the league for almost 14, 15 years. Michael Jordan never joined forces with anybody on another team. He was a Chicago Bull. He never went to another team except the Bullets because he was running the organization when he went to the Bullets. He's the one that hired Doug Collins, and Doug Collins is the one who asked Michael Jordan to come back and because he believed that Michael Jordan had a little bit left, which he did before he tore his meniscus. But you never saw Michael Jordan go out and try to form a Big Three or go and play with Magic Johnson or Larry Bird, like I said on Tuesday. You never saw that. And the one thing that I can say about Michael Jordan that you never did see is you never heard Michael Jordan talk about things politically off the court. And you heard that in The Last Dance. He didn't want to get into the politicians or the political end. He just wanted to play the game of basketball and to be the best player he could be. Why is it that LeBron James politically opens his mouth? LeBron James likes to put his 2 cents with everything that's going on in the world when it has nothing to do with him. And I'm sorry, it doesn't have anything to do with him. And the way the NBA is designing this round robin, LeBron James has his own thoughts to it. Now, LeBron James, and I will say this over and over again, he needed that other superstar player to play beside him with the Lakers if they had any chance of winning a championship. There were stories coming out last year before the Pelicans decided not to trade him that LeBron James was trying to persuade Anthony Davis at the All-Star game to come aboard and come and play with the Lakers. And there were stories coming out from the Lakers organization that it wasn't a sure thing that he was going to go to the Lakers because he was very intrigued with the New York Knicks and that organization with some of the youth that they have over there and the money that he can make and the endorsements he can get in New York City.
Yeah, again, the Lakers seem like a sure thing for a lot of teams, or a lot of players now, but a lot of times it doesn't happen that way. We saw with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, too. Well,
Paul George, and I know a lot of people thought he was going to go to the Lakers. Paul George, who grew up a Laker fan, grew up in L.A., He always wanted to play for the LA Lakers. He didn't want to play with LeBron James. And I'll tell you this right now, say whatever you want to say about LeBron James. I don't think Anthony Davis wants to play there either. The only reason why Anthony Davis wanted to go over there is because he thought he had a better chance of winning over there, and he knew that the Lakers were going to make a significant trade and give up a significant stock to get him.
So from that logic, do you think he has a better chance of leaving if they do win or don't win?
I don't know if Anthony Davis is going to stay there, even if they do win or lose this year. Anthony Davis becomes an unrestricted free agent. I'm sorry, a restricted free agent this offseason. That means he can decide where he wants to go. And I've heard stories coming out, not only from his camp, but other camps, that he wants to go back to Chicago and he wants to play for his hometown, a team that he grew up rooting for, Michael Jordan. That's why he wore number 23. And that's why he wears number 23. And that's why LeBron gave him the number 23, Michael Jordan. Right. So I do believe Anthony Davis believes that it's not a sure thing that he's coming back to the Lakers, and he wants to have the best chance and the best team to go out there and win a championship. That doesn't mean he's going to stay with the Lakers. And LeBron James will try everything and try to persuade his way in. I mean, there were stories coming out from LeBron James camp with Bronny Jr. Stating that Bronny Jr. wants the league to take away the fact that you have to go and play college basketball or play in the G League and just come into the NBA at the age of 17, 18 like his father did when they took it away probably...
I think 2007.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years after LeBron James came into the league. The problem here with LeBron James is he is trying to make rules for the NBA. He's trying, him and Chris Paul, and I love Chris Paul, and I have a lot of respect for Chris Paul as a player. Chris Paul is the biggest pain in the ass. He really is. I don't want to hear about his State Farm garbage that he puts on TV and LeBron James being a part of it, and James Harden being a part of it. To me, it's a publicity stunt, and the fact that Chris Paul wants his face on every single media outlet, internet outlet, it's ridiculous. Him and LeBron James have been not only the spokesman for the NBA and the Players Union for the last few years. To me, they've been the appealing poison that the NBA has been trying to get rid of for the last couple years, ever since David Stern stepped down and Adam Silver took over. So I think the NBA needs to look at this. They need to somehow get to LeBron James and tell LeBron James to keep his mouth shut, because LeBron James, for some reason, not only wants to be a part of the production end of movies or making TV shows or doing everything else. Now he's he's creating a coloring book and a book. I mean, this guy has his hand dipped into everything. I mean, he's multifaceted, and to me, he's a great player. Nobody's taking away from his talent. He just needs to learn how to shut his mouth.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
And again, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon. With just more media outlets being around and a lot of good young players.
Well, let's put Kevin on quickly because we have our next guest that's going to be coming in. Kevin, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just want to talk some NBA. I got a quick question for you guys. So a lot of people have been saying Luka Doncic, he's a shoo-in to be an NBA champion. Like, there's no doubt about it. This dude's a future champion. And my response is, I don't think they realize how hard it is to win a championship in the NBA. And you look at the amount of great NBA players that have never won a championship. And I feel the league is as competitive as ever right now. And what do you think about that? Do you think this idea that he's going to come in and win a championship in a couple of years, and no doubt, I don't know about that.
I will say this. Luka Doncic is one of the best young superstars in the NBA. We've seen this kid develop in 2 years to be one of the most highly profiled players in the NBA. For the Dallas Mavericks and Mark Cuban, bringing Kristaps Porzingis, a player that he played with overseas, knows the game, it does help him grow as a player. The problem with the Dallas Mavericks is they don't have that other superstar player. They don't have that type of player. They need that third guy, and their bench is not that good. And that's the problem with the Dallas Mavericks. To win a championship, you need that bench help. They don't have that. anymore. And they had Barnes. They had all these different players that they decided to move away from because they thought bringing in Kristaps Porzingis and paying him the $100 million contract that he wanted, he decided to wean his way away from the New York Knicks because he didn't want to play there for that organization, which to me was a crock of you-know-what. But do I think Luka Doncic is going to win a championship in the next 3 or 4 years? Unless Dallas finds a way to add another superstar in the draft or try to tally away from some of the players that they've given big contracts to, Tim Hardaway Jr. being one of them, they're not going to win a championship because they don't have enough on their bench to do that. Is Luka Doncic going to be that next big superstar? I think him and Giannis are the next big superstars in the NBA.
Absolutely, I agree. He's a superstar, but there's a lot of superstars in the NBA right now, but that aren't champions.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Chris Paul, that dude's a perennial all-star, and big name in the NBA. He's always on commercials, just like you're saying, but he wasn't a champion. He's never won a championship. So that's my take regarding Luka Doncic being a champion. But I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think their bench is really good. I think they have some good guys on the bench.
Who?
Curry.
Who? Seth Curry?
Seth Curry, yeah.
Seth Curry's
been okay, but he's not a consistent
He's
guy.
not a consistent player. He's a good three-point shooter. He's not his brother. And he's more known as a defensive player than he is as an offensive player. So is he a good player? He's a quality player coming off the bench. Is he a player that's going to help you win a championship? If you add another big-time player, like if you add a Carmelo Anthony to that team that's going to give you a 19, 20-point off the bench, yeah, then you could start talking about your bench being good. But they don't have a player like that coming off the bench.
They're stuck with too many bad
Carmelo
contracts.
Anthony, no, they need to stay away from him. They need another defensive player. They need another gritty defensive player.
Well, I'm not saying Carmelo Anthony, Kevin, I'm not saying Carmelo Anthony. They need a Carmelo Anthony-esque type of player that's going to give you 18, 19, or 20 points off the bench. They don't have a player of that magnitude. And that's the problem with the Dallas Mavericks. And those players are not easy to find.
Yeah, I think what they really need is a rough and rugged guy down low. Powell's out this season. He was kind of that guy. He was like that defensive anchor, just all effort, do the dirty work type of player. They really don't have that. Kristaps Porzingis, he's not that guy. He's a flash guy. He's a skills player.
Mm-hmm.
They need a rough and rugged, down and dirty guy who's going to get in there, throw some elbows around, get some big boards.
Maybe they could hire you.
Defense.
Maybe they could hire you.
I wish I'd come there. Get rid of Cuban in a heartbeat. 'Cause I don't like Cuban.
Well, how much will Mark need to pay you to drop elbows on some of the best players in the NBA?
Oh, they get hurt. Give me at least $2 million.
$2 million?
I'm ready to go.
I'll take $100,000. I'll drop knees on some of the players. I'll drop knees, elbows, whatever you want for $100,000.
Hey, my next point before I head out, Jokic. I've seen some pictures recently, and the dude looks skinny. He's freaking skinny, and people were saying he needs to lose some weight. I don't know about that. I think his weight benefited him because he's not like a real quick. Unless he comes back and he's really quick all the time, real agile. But that wasn't his game. He was like a bulky. He used to throw his weight around and real athletic, real talented around the basket, had a nice touch. But what do you guys think about that?
Well,
him losing weight.
Well, and I saw Jokic. I saw the pictures of Jokic and how thin he got. First of all, he has got some of the best footwork in the NBA. And as a big man, you need that footwork. And losing weight only helps his footwork laterally. And I think that's why, because he became one of the best big men perimeter shooters in the NBA. And using the pick and roll the way they do in the way they play, especially in Denver, it's only going to make him better on the outside to the inside. The guy is a tremendous athlete, and I think it's only going to help him. Now, if it doesn't, he could always put that weight back. It's not hard to put weight back from losing it. So I don't think it's going to make a difference. I think it's going to make him a better player.
Jokic he's not got the respect, man. What he's been doing, I think he's like 10th all time in triple doubles, and he's been in the league how long? A short amount of time. He's like a walking triple double.
Yep, he's a fantastic player.
The effortless, the buzzer beaters. He's pretty much been carrying the Denver Nuggets. But people want to put Embiid and Karl Anthony Towns and all these other players, that don't make no sense. I think Jokic is highly underrated. I think he's a top 10 player right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Best center in the league. I think he's the best center in the league.